Motherboard. The motherboard is the main circuit board that connects every single component in your computer together. So think of it like the foundation of a building. Every other component, the CPU, RAM, storage, and GPU, all plug into the motherboard. Without it, none of those parts can communicate with each other. Now, one important thing about motherboards is compatibility. Not every CPU works with every motherboard. Each motherboard has a specific socket type, and your CPU must match that socket. Another thing worth knowing is the form factor, which basically means the size of the motherboard. The most common one is ATX, which fits in standard PC cases. Then there's micro ATX and mini ITX for smaller builds. CPU. The CPU, or central processing unit, is the brain of your computer. So, the way this works is every single task you do on your computer, whether it's opening a browser, running a game, or editing a video, all of it gets processed by the CPU first. Now, two things define how powerful a CPU is. The first one is cores. Cores are like individual workers inside the CPU. So the more cores you have, the more tasks your computer can handle at the same time. The second thing is clock speed, which is measured in gigahertz. This tells you how fast each core processes tasks. So a CPU running at 3.5 gigahertz is faster at finishing individual tasks than one running at 2.5 gigahertz. Hard drive. A hard drive is a rectangular-shaped device that stores all the computer's data, such as important files, photos, softwares, and even the operating systems. In simple words, it is the place where all the computer's data is saved. Inside it, it has a circular spinning disk and a moving arm that reads and writes data. A hard drive can store large amounts of data, provide long-term storage, and keep data even when the computer is turned off. It is cost-effective and even available in different storage capacities such as 500 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, or more. But the problem is it's very slow in accessing the data because it is connected to a wire, and sometimes it doesn't provide the correct data. So we use RAM to handle this. RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. It looks like a slim rectangular stick which is plugged into the motherboard, and it's your computer's short-term memory. RAM helps your computer work faster by keeping the data that is currently in use ready for quick access. So, the way this works is whenever you open an application on your computer, the data is loaded from the hard drive into the RAM. The CPU then quickly accesses this data from RAM instead of the slower storage. But here's the key difference between RAM and storage. Unlike hard drive, which holds the data permanently, RAM only holds data till your computer is on. So the moment you shut down your computer, everything in the RAM gets cleared off. SSD. A solid-state drive, or SSD, does the same job as a hard drive, but it is much more faster and durable than a hard drive. This is because it does not have spinning disks. Instead, it uses memory chips to store data. In some computers, SSDs are used along with hard drives, while in others, only an SSD is used. Although SSDs are more expensive than hard drives, they are now commonly used because they are fast and reliable. Graphics card. A GPU, or graphics processing unit, is the component responsible for everything you see on your screen. It consists of a circuit board, a main processing chip, cooling fans, and a heatsink to prevent overheating. Some powerful GPUs are larger in size and may have multiple fans for better cooling. So here's the thing. A GPU can handle thousands of calculations all at once. It takes all that graphical data, processes it, and shoots the final graphical output straight to your screen. So while the CPU handles general tasks, the GPU is specifically designed to process visual data like gaming, video editing, and 3D rendering. Now, there are mainly two types of GPUs. The first one is an integrated GPU. This type is built directly into the CPU and shares the system RAM. It's not very powerful, but it's good enough for everyday tasks like watching videos, browsing the internet, or doing office work. The second type is a dedicated GPU. This is a separate component that plugs into the motherboard and has its own dedicated memory called VRAM. Because it has its own memory and processing power, a dedicated GPU is significantly more powerful and expensive than an integrated one. PSU. The PSU, or power supply unit, is a rectangular box that converts electricity from the wall outlet to power all the components of a computer. Its main role is to provide steady and controlled power so the computer runs properly. It also helps protect the system from problems like power overloads and short circuits. Cooling fan. Some parts of a computer, such as the CPU or graphics card, produce a lot of heat, which can affect performance. To control this heat, a cooling fan is used. The fan is usually attached to the processor or installed inside the computer case. It helps by pushing hot air out and bringing cooler air inside. In high-performance systems, some users also use liquid cooling as an advanced method to manage heat more effectively. Case. The case is the outer body of a computer that holds all its internal components. It keeps the parts protected and organized. It also helps with cooling by providing vents and openings that allow air to flow through and remove heat from the system. Cases come in different sizes and designs, from small ones for compact setups to larger ones for gaming or high-performance computers. Wireless card. A wireless card is a small component that lets a computer connect to a Wi-Fi network without using an Ethernet cable. It allows the system to access the internet wirelessly. If a computer does not have a wireless card, it usually needs a wired connection, such as an Ethernet cable, to connect to the internet.